Hi, I'm Stephanie McGowan. I'm a councilwoman in Rutherford, and I am humbly asking for your support in this Tuesday's primary on June 6th. Thank you. Thank you so much for the incredible support of the Rutherford residents for my reelection and for the candidacy of Eddie Narucki. Councilman Tom Leahy and Mark Goldstack, Eddie and I have been going door to door around town and have had the amazing opportunity to speak with over 1,250 residents already. And I can't even tell you how amazing it is to see over 150 of our signs up on Democratic households across the community. And to those of you who we were unable to accommodate, I am so sorry. We actually ran out of signs, and so thank you. It's incredible. Thank you. And I promise that after the primary, as we get ready for November, we will make sure that we have enough signs for everybody. So thanks. So really, I guess my message today is about the importance of Tuesday, June 6th, and I'm putting this video message up in response and out of request from some of our constituents who thought it would be good to hear my own words, how important this is and what we're hoping to get from this. Tuesday, June 6th, Rutherford has a very, very important decision to make. And I promised 3 years ago when I was elected that I would be transparent in my decision making, in my thinking, and in my voting, and to advocate for all residents, whether you voted for me or not, that when I sat up there, party affiliation would not dictate my decision making, and my record stands for itself, and I'm really proud of it. I have never once voted on an idea that was presented by the party for its own benefit that wasn't actually for the benefit of all of its residents, and I don't plan on ever doing that moving forward. I have always sat up there and thought about what was in the best interest, and when I've asked people what they shared were in their best interest, and I hope that you recognize that. And I'm not sure that I can say that for everyone else, but I know that I can say that for myself. And so today, taking the positive approach that I always do, I would like to share with you some thoughts for your consideration as you're making your decision for this Tuesday and who you'll support. I have always understood that by being elected, even with those who disagree with us, it's critically important to listen to everyone. And so for that, I thank all the residents, those who supported me, those who haven't, that have taken the time to express their passion, the things that they feel are critically important, things that they would like us to take more seriously. So I would like to thank all of you for doing that, because ultimately we are neighbors, and Rutherford is home to each of us. And I think about where we are and what we need, and I feel confident clearly in my own strengths. I'm a professional. I run a college. We work collaboratively with folks internally, externally, building relationships, and that comes with being able to clearly articulate what's important, but also being a good listener and hearing what's important to other people and making good decisions. And I feel like that experience is what Eddie Narucki brings to the table. His professional preparation is, bar none, something so valuable, something so needed for us at the dais. Every day he handles situations with adults and children, conflict resolution. He understands the importance of common ground, of workforce development, of team building, of finding common issues to rally behind, because it's important to build culture and community. And his experience professionally, his reputation professionally is outstanding. And so in a time where the borough is really facing challenges, it's important to have somebody with courage of conviction who's not afraid to speak up, who understands that the status quo has to be challenged. It's desperately needed. If we're able to continue to move forward, if our goal is really to move Rutherford to the next step, then we need to ensure that the people who are sitting up there, the people that are entrusted with your vote, your confidence need to, in fact, be able to articulate and to champion and to have courage of conviction. So I guess the real question, the question I've been asked the most is, what is this election really about? And honestly, it's about getting back to operating this beautiful borough effectively and efficiently. Despite lots of promises made from both parties over the last few years, the reality is the promise of having a borough administrator has not been actualized. About a little more than a year ago, we were presented with the opportunity to change the role of mayor, to increase the salary by $70,000, and to effectively give the role and responsibility of borough administrator, which is a highly decorated professional position, to an elected official. And sadly, the vote was 5-1. I was the lone voice in that discussion because I felt very strongly, as being someone whose expertise is in policy management, organizational structures, I understand the value, the importance of having that kind of executive management and leadership in order to oversee the public employees for which we are entrusted, but also to keep the power in check of the elected officials, so that in no time, no one part of that balance ever is more powerful, that it doesn't do the work of the taxpayer, which is essentially what a local government is about. And so sadly, with a 5-1 vote, I being the lone one, this was going to pass. But I thank you. I thank all of the residents, both parties, any party, no party affiliation, who heard what I was sharing, the questions I was asking, who came out and demanded, quite frankly, that their elected officials retreat and not move forward on this. And that was the first important step. But sadly, what did pass was the creation of a modified position that does not have the executive authority to manage, to make executive decisions, to hold that system of balance between public employee and elected official. And so essentially, the power still resides with an elected person. And this is not a personal attack on any of the elected people in that role. Really, the discussion is about the concept organizationally for a community with over 18,000 residents, with a municipal budget of over $30 million. We shouldn't be operating like a mom and pop shop. We should be operating like the sophisticated community that we are. And so when we say, what is this election really about? It's about putting people at the dais who believe that it is essential to have check and balance, that it is essential to have to support borough employees and to put in position people who are highly qualified with great experience that would be able to come and help us shepherd projects that you care about. For example, one of the top things I'm asked about when going door to door, when Eddie and I are walking around, is the question about redevelopment. What is happening in this town, or more importantly, why isn't anything happening in this town? And the truth is, without this essential employee, without this management executive manager who shepherds projects such as the Williams Center redevelopment, such as the looming project down on Highland Cross, such as the vacant properties that you've seen that has been part of the redevelopment process that many of you came out to ask questions about, they're sitting idly because essentially electeds are handling the discussions instead of having a mediator, if you will, or representative of the borough to meet with entities like the county, like state legislatures, like developers, in really advocating for what is essential, what Rutherford needs, and more importantly, how to preserve Rutherford so that the charm, the love that we have for the community we picked, stays intact. And so it's time to put folks who are at the table who are less worried about what they're getting out of it, and more prepared to have courage of conviction to say they're not threatened by bringing somebody from the outside out who will give us, I believe, actually greater autonomy at the end of the day in making better decisions in not just good governance, but in planning, in who Rutherford wants to be as we move forward. And so I guess the time for making excuses, it's done. After the last November election, the national election, so many of us, I know I can certainly speak for myself, felt like we're just sick of excuses and finger pointing. There's no Wizard of Oz. This is not the Wizard of Oz. There's not a man behind the curtain. There's no mysterious person telling elected officials how to vote. I think we're all smarter than that. The reality is any resident can come up to an elected official and ask them to support something. And when you elect us, you expect us to be judicious enough to know the difference and to ultimately make the right decision. And again, I stand behind my record of making those judicious decisions. I have supported the budget every year proudly, because they were good budgets, because we worked collaboratively to get there. And I'm most proud, particularly this year, as serving as the finance chair, I worked with every single person that was willing to be worked with. I met with every department head. We did transparent budget presentations for anybody who came to the public meetings so that they could hear what was happening, so that residents understood that we weren't having these quiet behind-the-scene conversations. Rather, what we knew, you knew. And that was a part of what was making good decisions. And proudly, we passed a 0% municipal increase budget that has a robust capital project budget that addresses the things you care about. Better road paving, fixing the fields, getting things returfed, addressing the park situation for all the families with uniquely abled children who have repeatedly shared with me over the past few years that their children have nothing to play on. Removing those agenda items, and I'm really proud of that. And so, but it was done through collaborative work. And so this notion that somehow someone is standing behind a curtain telling us what to do is disappointing, and it is pretty offensive. I can speak for myself and say that has never been the case. It will never be the case, and I am again more confident than ever that my colleagues, Tom Leahy, Mark Goldsack, they have demonstrated the fact that they have great courage of conviction, and that Eddie Narucki is going to be an amazing asset to that dais. And so I guess I want to end with thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the Democrats who decided that Eddie and I were who you believed deserved the opportunity to run on column 4. I'm proud of that. We were selected because we have courage of conviction. We're not afraid to speak up. We don't care if it's the minority or the majority, but whether it's popular or unpopular, it's because it's the right thing to do. We're selected because we're willing to put ourselves out there and do heavy lifting. The day-to-day grind work, the stuff that makes public service incredibly unattractive, to be honest, because we believe that Rutherford could be all she could be. We're selected because we have strong and successful professional backgrounds, and we are not afraid to be held to high standards because we demonstrate in our professional capacity every day that we are willing to work hard and have dynamic job performance. And we're selected because we make no excuses. We understand the power of collaboration, both within the borough and the county and the state, and building relationships. And we're selected because our peers believe that we deserve the opportunity to represent the party, to represent our democratic ideals. And so essentially now it's up to you. It's up to you to determine whether or not Eddie Narucki and I deserve the right, come this November, to represent every resident of this beautiful borough that we love. I love being a Rutherfordian. I do. I demonstrate my love for this community every day. Eddie's a volunteer. He coaches. He serves on rec advisory. I began Access for All. I proudly represent it. I brought safely back home to this community, re-energized Kid Print with the police department, worked alongside the PTA and the school system to make sure families knew about opportunities for children and for seniors. I raised money tirelessly for organizations that I proudly serve and my family serve to make sure that the people who live here are taken care of. And so I humbly ask for your support of my reelection. And I also humbly and respectfully ask for your support of Eddie Narucki. Mark, Tom, and I have worked really hard over the last few years to regain the trust of the Democrats of Rutherford. And I promise you we won't steer you wrong. Eddie is a dynamic, wonderful person, father, husband, son, community volunteer, exceptional professional. And come June 6th, we thank you for your support of Column 4 and for McGowan and Narucki. If you have any questions, reach out. You know how to find me. And we look forward to knocking on a door, probably yours, pretty soon. Take care. Have a great day.